Are you winning? Do you need help in your life or business? Could you use some inspiration, business strategies, and success principles? I'm Daniel Gomez, award-winning business coach, keynote speaker, and best-selling author. On the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we will help you create a successful life and elevate your business. Together, we will discover the keys that unlock your success and dreams. Welcome back to another episode of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, where we motivate you, we inspire you. Today, we're going to educate you into another level. I'll tell you what, I got a firehouse in here today, and she's full of energy. She's amazing. And what I love about her is she's not scared to take risk. And I had the pleasure of meeting her over a year ago. We just became close friends, and we just see each other at different events. So I'm honored to have the one and only Jazmin Salinas. ¿Cómo estás? How you doing, Jazmin?
That was amazing. That was an amazing intro. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. I'm honored to be here with you today.
Oh, I'll tell you what, let's go. I'm excited. I just love who you are and what you talk about. And you're an amazing individual. And I just really wanted to highlight you on our show and just, God is good, right? Sometimes you need that friend in you that just kind of can speak life into you, or just you see somebody and you're like, hey, where did we leave off last time?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know the amazing person you are, Jazmin. Do me a favor, introduce yourself to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, please.
Oh, yeah, I mean, how much time do we have, right? But I can just briefly tell you my story. I came from humble beginnings. I came from Mexico. I was born and raised in Mexico, and then came and started my life from scratch. I moved here when I was 18. I was already in university and building my life. Then moved here and pretty much just start from scratch. Didn't speak the language, didn't have any family, friends, support, didn't know where to start. And the one of the things that I did is like, let me just start where I am with what I have, because if I wait or if I start playing the victim role, I will never be out of this. And I had so many reasons to just be crying all day, so I just pick up myself. Of course, my dad was a huge support for me, my mom, all my family, but got in business. I started working, saving money, and buying my first piece of real estate, a vacant lot. And after that, just sold it and resell and buy, resell again. And right now I'm in real estate, multifamily real estate. So I buy complex apartments and help people invest in those apartments.
Look
Help
at you.
people create.
All those things you're doing, and you weren't even born in America. Like, that just shows the tenacity that you have, Jazmin. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the part of the show where we say, get out your pen, get out your paper, because Jazmin's about to drop some massive wisdom. And I'll tell you, she has a story of resilience, of grit and tenacity. And remember, what you write down, you retain over 50% of it. So I want you to take notes, because she's going to go in depth, and I want you to listen to what she's saying. I want you not just to listen, but to learn and go back and watch your notes and then watch this episode again. So what you write down, you retain over 50% of it. Jazmin, you just said something that caught my attention in what you said in your intro. You had a choice to either cry and cry again and play the victim, but you didn't. You get here from Mexico, you move to America, no friends, no nothing. Like, talk to me, because I think so many people get stuck in that victim mentality. And you came from Mexico, and look at you, you're being very successful. What did you do initially to pick yourself up off the floor, like you said?
I will say, so first of all, my fate is a big role for me. And one of the things that helped me a lot back then was even Jesus had to emigrate. Like, even Jesus suffers so much in this world. Like, who I am. Like, why do I don't want to start over again? Why do I feel like I don't deserve this? And of course, my family was also a big role on me. My dad, I remember at one point, he dragged me and he told me, listen, I hate that I'm putting you in this position, I'm sorry to bring you here to America and leave everything behind, but you're not the only one. You need to figure it out because there are millions of people who come to this country and are successful. So go figure it out. You know, like my dad said, like somebody in the same situation that you are is winning. And that he'll like,
boom, that's that. Say that again. Somebody, right, ladies and gentlemen, write that
yeah,
down right now. Say that again. Say that again.
Somebody in the same situation that you are is winning.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe you're having a pity party right now. Maybe you're stuck in your feelings. You're stuck because you lost a big client. You didn't get that paid speaking engagement, or maybe you're just being overlooked right now. Somebody that's in the same situation that you are right now is winning. Write that down. Somebody right now that's in the same situation that I am is winning. How can I start winning even more? I love what you're saying, because so many times, right, we run a business and we really help people out. I mean, we really do. We work with people when they can't afford to come to Sticker Shock. We set up a payment plan. We do all these things. We automate so many things. And then, right, they agree to it. Then we process their payment and they're like, what happened? I'm like, when you set up automatic payment on your phone bill or on your cable bill, they don't call you every single day to draft $100. It's like they process your payment. And so many people play the victim. And I had a client, I said, look, man, I mean, when you signed this, you agreed to it. It is what it is. Like, take responsibility. You can't be wishy-washy. And I think so many times we get in these situations when we fall into that victim mentality and we're not winning. Instead of trying to dig ourselves out of it, we just blame somebody else. Did you ever blame anybody else?
No. And let me get a little bit deeper on my story. The reason why we moved to United States was because my dad was kidnapped by the cartels. So it never crossed my mind to blame them and tell them like, dude, you're destroying a whole family. My whole life has been changed. Like, we have to leave the country. Like, if we were doing something wrong, like, you are the ones who are doing something wrong. And it never crosses. I don't know why. Like, probably it was my faith, the relationship that I have with God. But that's another thing that I can tell you I'm good at, probably. I just take full responsibility of everything. If there are things that are totally out of your control, just like having your loved one kidnapped. That's totally out of my control. But what is on my control, what I'm gonna do, the feelings that I'm gonna have in my heart after this, like, this is devastating. This is destroying me. And not just me, my loved ones. Like, I can, if it was only me, I mean, I'll be fine. I'm a grown-up woman. But when they are destroying your family, is just a whole nother level. And just forgive that, when they don't even feel sorry, when they don't even feel like they destroy, or how much impact they had in your life, like, it is probably one of the hardest things that I have ever done. But now looking back, it's like I just took responsibility of how I feel, what I'm gonna have, right?
Wow. I never knew that your dad was taken by, is he okay now? Is he alive?
Yes. Yeah, he is, thank God. He came back after 1 month and a half.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen to what Jazmin just said. You think you got it rough? Maybe her dad got abducted by the cartel, kidnapped by the cartel. And I'm very familiar with that because I live here in San Antonio. My wife Mari's from Del Rio, border town, Laredo. There's so many border towns here within about a 2 or 3 mile rate, 2 to 3 hour radius from where I'm at. And this is real. So imagine your dad being abducted, kidnapped by the cartel. You don't even know if he's gonna live or die, and now you got to come to America, and you got that. Now that's a stress level upon the stress level of just coming here, and you didn't say, right, it's your fault. Why do you think so many people gravitate to that negative aspect instead of seeing, okay, I'm not going to play the victim, but most of them, we gravitate towards the victim. We blame others. And I appreciate you talking about your faith, but Why do you think so many people go the opposite way than what you did, Jazmin?
I think that's the easiest part. We're humans, and those feelings are gonna come. Like, of course, they came to me, and that's the easiest way. Like, we're human, and we don't understand. Like, why is this happening to me? Like, I'm a good woman, my dad, my family. Like, it's so easy to say, like, this doesn't make sense. I don't deserve this. By any means, I don't deserve this. And I just feel like that's part of our human nature. And one of the things that I heard recently, and I think so, it doesn't matter that we have those feelings because we're human. The problem is for how long we're gonna keep them.
Mm-hmm.
You can keep that for 20 years until I die, like have that feeling that I'm a victim. I came and you took everything away from me. You destroyed my life. Or I can just say, like, it happened. I'm sorry for me. I'm sorry for my loved ones, but that's it. We gotta continue. Life goes on.
So many people just kind of stay there, and then they stay there. And then the more you stay in one place, you get stuck there even deeper. And then that's where the resentment, the anger, the hatred, and that's right. That goes to your destructive mindset because it kills your creativity. It kills everything that's positive in your life. And you chose, right? So then you come out of this, you come to America. You're very successful now in real estate. What made you poke interest in doing real estate and buying your first property and flipping it, like you're saying, the land?
Yeah. So I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, the business owner. I never saw myself in corporate America or anything. And I was just saving money because my dad is like, whatever business you're gonna open, you're gonna need money, that's for sure. So I was just saving money, and then at one point I had like 45,000, and I'm like, oh, I can do something with this for sure. I'm like, should I buy a house, a duplex and rent it on one side? What kind of business can I open? I had no idea. Like, I didn't have a business idea. And I was like, you know what? While I figure something out, I'm just gonna buy a piece of real estate. So I started, like, you know, doing some research on what kind, like house or duplex, fourplex, all that. And I was like, that's a lot. For now, I'm just gonna buy a piece of land and keep it there, and that's it, right? And then later on, I decide what to do. So to me, it was like a land doesn't need any work or anything. That's what I think it's better than having it in the back. So bought it, and a couple months after, I got the opportunity to do sales for a real estate investment firm. And that's when I realized, like, oops, how to analyze properties and all that. And I was like, I didn't get such a good deal on my lot. I pay higher than anybody else in the neighborhood. It's on the floodplain. I was like, I need to sell it. So sold it. Of course, I didn't lose any money. I sold it. And after, I was like, now I have money. And then just started doing that again and again. And here I am 4 years later.
So what was the first property that you bought, the land that actually, what's the process, right? The first one that you made the first one you broke even, but the first one that you actually made a profit. Tell
Oh
us a
no,
little bit
I
about
made
that.
a profit on that one. It
Did
was
you?
only 5K. Yeah. I bought it for 40,000 and sold it for 45,000. Yeah. And
Nice.
after, I was like, oh, okay, well, and even like I didn't even get such a good deal, and I made 5,000. So I was like, okay, I can do that again. So I just started doing over and over again.
So if someone's looking at buying land, what's one of the first things you got to look at if you're going to get a piece of property, just land like that?
Of course, what's happening in the area, new construction. Of course, you don't want to mess with anything that is on the floodplain, because then to build on floodplain is a whole another code and everything. What's happening in the area, the new constructions, if there are for how long pieces of land are selling, and for how long are being sitting on the market. Those things, like, I never thought about, but those are very important. Like, of course, you want to buy a piece of land that is in a desirable location. Location is number one for any kind of real estate.
Location, 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 right?
Yep.
And then you go from flipping land, buying land. Now you're part of a great community called Massive Capital. Now you're going into a higher level. Like I'm what I love about you is you're fearless. I want a lot of women to hear this because I think so many times as a woman, we don't bet on ourselves like we should. And men too, right? But you coming from a different country, making something of yourself, now you invested like big time in yourself. What where was the shift at for you? Like when you started selling land, and what was the next level? Because now you went to some 10x trainings with Grant Cardone, and your mindset totally leveled up.
Yeah.
That happened.
So yeah, so that was the first thing that I did is like I need to invest in myself, and I need to put myself around people who are doing what I want to do like 10 times ahead, you know. And one of the things I don't know, have you heard a quote that says an undiscovered diamond still being a diamond. And I was like, somebody one day is gonna discover the diamond that I have, that it doesn't have to do anything with my language, coming from another country, you know, like all those things, you know, that society put us labels on. Like somebody's gonna discover my potential. So to me, it was like I just need to show up and I need to invest on myself, because the more prepared that you are, you know, you can add more value to people. So I started attending to a lot of trainings, and one of them was Grant Cardone, just their events. Because at the same time, like I was doing so much land, like I was buying at one point like four lots every month. So I was transactioning a lot, and I was like, what should I do next?
You were doing 4 lots a month.
Mhm.
And what was the actual? If you don't mind telling us, what was the how much profit were you making per plot per land?
Well, my deal breaker was if I don't make 15,000 on each lot, it's not worth my time. Of course, sometimes I had to take a hit and all that, but most of the time it was like anywhere from 15 to a lot.
Ladies
One was
and
like 45,000 and one.
wow, listen to what Jasmine's saying. Write this down. Where are you not putting yourself out there in your life? What area of your life are you not putting yourself out there? Her first property, ladies and gentlemen, she went from buying it to making 5,000. Now she was doing 4 properties, made $60,000 in 1 month. Think about that. What's the most you ever made in 1 month? Jasmine, do you realize that that's more than what many people make in a year? You did it in a month.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so grateful.
So what do you tell somebody right now that's saying, I can never do that? That's great, Jasmine, but I'm not you. What do you say to somebody like that right now who's
I'm like, if you think that you don't that you can do that, then you're right. You know, like nobody's gonna invest in you, nobody's gonna give you a shot if you don't do it to yourself. So the first thing that I will work on is on confidence, on building yourself, because then you will show up with people, billionaires. Like I was on a room full of billionaires, and I was the little girl, and I was confident. And when I came to Massive Capital, I told him, I met with one of the principals, and I told him, I want to get in multifamily, and this is my skill set. Do you think I can add value to you? And he's like, of course, and we start, of course, getting to know each other's, our talents, our strengths and our weaknesses and all that, and building the team. But the first thing is invest in yourself. Like nobody's gonna bet on you unless you do.
wow. You just man, and you're right. You can't win without confidence. You need confidence to get out there and take action. So you're going through the multifamily. You join Massive Capital, and then like, what's one of the biggest hurdles mentally that you had to overcome? Because I'm hearing your success story. Of course, there had to have been a dip along the way. What was that low point where you're like, man, this isn't for me? Maybe, or it was rough that you thought about maybe I can't do this. What was that mental barrier?
I feel like I have a mental barrier every day. It's always having that feeling of what am I doing here? Like, of course I'm not qualified. Of course, like, when did I get so lucky? Oh my gosh, everybody is way better than me. At least everybody can speak English. It's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? Like, all those thoughts like come to my mind all the time. Like, if I'm in a podcast, like, why am I in a podcast if I can even speak English? But the thing is, like, we go back to the same thing. For how long you're gonna have those thoughts? To me, it's just like they come and I brush them off. Adios. I need to keep going, because if I start thinking and wrapping myself around all those thoughts, I will never do anything.
So what do you do to keep going, right? I love that. So what's a strategy that you do? Those thoughts come into your mind, and then what does Jazmin do to keep going?
So first of all, I identify them. Like, the first thing is, like, you need to be aware, and it's like, oh, here I am again, right? Having those thoughts, and it's like having that thought of, I'm not asking myself, like, first of all, like, for example, with my partners, right? Like, I'm like, they already gave me a shot. They knew I couldn't speak English. They knew I wasn't qualified to do multi-family $1 million deals, but they knew that. It's, like, they still gave me a shot. So it's not my choice. Like, right now, they already give me the opportunity. I've been grinding for this. Like, my first job was in fast food restaurant. When I first from Mexico, like, this is a dream. They give me the shot that I was looking for. Like, I can be playing with my mind like that, right? And now I need to prove them and add the most value to them, because I'm super grateful.
Love it, man. You're just inspiring. And then not only that, you became a published author, right? You were part of an anthology, and you're doing the impossible right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to really reflect back so far how we've come in this episode. Jazmin came from Mexico. They didn't know how to speak English too well. And she just started, right? The first step she did is she didn't play the victim. So write that down. Step one, don't play the victim. And then the second thing is when her dad got abducted by the cartel, the Mexican cartel, which, I mean, it's serious stuff because he might have not made it back. She still didn't blame, not even them. She didn't blame anyone. She didn't blame the cartel. Because think about that. Think about you're there at home having dinner right now. And in a moment's notice, you're not in Texas. Maybe you're in Oklahoma now because you have to leave because they kidnapped your dad. That's how serious what happened to Jazmin's family, right? So she didn't play the victim. Two, she didn't blame anybody else. And now she's like, she said, this is the third thing she said: start where you're at. You started where you're at, and you did your first property. And even though it wasn't a huge $20 million, you still made a profit of 5,000. So what do you need to do, ladies and gentlemen? Do you need to stop playing the victim? Do you need to stop blaming others? Or do you need to just take action and start where you're at? You're never going to have the life you want if you never take a step towards the direction that you want to be at. Let me say it again. You're never going to get the life you want, the business you want, if you don't take a step in the direction that you want to go to. And then listen to what else she said. Now she knew she wanted something bigger, right? She did the first part of her dream. Now she went to this multifamily, massive capital, very successful firm in Houston, Texas. And she said, hey, this is what I have. And you think I can add value? And you did, right? But ladies and gentlemen, so many times I always talk about this, Jazmin, because 90% of people undervalue themselves. And we bring more value than we realize. And someone's listening to this podcast or watching it saying, I undervalue myself. And look at what Jazmin's grown into. I mean, you're amazing. You inspire me because now you're part of this other book, this anthology. You're a published author now. And you're not even from America. And most Americans don't even have the courage to do half of the things you did. That says a lot about you.
Thank you.
Do you realize that?
No, well, no, I feel like most of the time I'm so caught up on myself, and I need to do it, and then And that's one of the things. So I attended to Daniel boot camp last year. It was last year, right? Yeah.
Yeah, November.
And it hit me because it was like, what are you gonna give yourself permission to do? Like, and we were reflecting, and this was an amazing experience. And that was like, I'm gonna give myself permission to cheer up myself, because I'm always like, I'm not enough. I need to learn. I need to do better. Just because like I have so much discontent, like I started from way behind than anybody else. So I need to catch up on everybody. And I'm always so caught up on that. Like, so I need to do better. This is not enough. I'm not, and when I look back, like now it's been 10 years since I moved here. And it's been a lot what I have done, starting from scratch, self-made, and I, I had that realization in your boot camp. Like it's okay to cheer up yourself and be kind to myself, like give grace to myself for don't giving up. Like it was so easy for me to give up or just, we go back to play the victim. And I decided not to.
Wow. And talking about that, this is a true story. So to kind of piggyback off of what Jazmin said is we had our first Millionaire Mind boot camp November of last year, November 17th and 18th. So I meet Jazmin at this event with a friend of mine, Brad Blazer, and we're there at Capital School, and Jazmin walks in, and I had my book on the table, right? Just kind of standing there. And Jazmin's like, "Is that your book?" I'm like, "Yeah." And what else is there to the book? I'm like, "What's the book?" And she goes, "Okay, we have any events around it?" And because of Jazmin, ladies and gentlemen, because of Jazmin, God had already put it in my heart. God put it in my heart to start to have a live event around the book, right? We launched the book was successful. Then we had our online program, 27 powerful modules at the makings of a millionairemind.com. And then I had that little prompting in my heart, do the boot camp, do a live boot camp. And I'm like, who's going to come to my boot camp, God? Like, no, I don't want to, like, I already got sticker shock. I don't want to do another event. I'm good. And then Jazmin says, okay, so is there an event to the book? I'm like, yeah, we're gonna have a live event, a boot camp, or some type of training around the book. Yeah, okay, great. Where do I do it? I'm like, what? So literally, ladies and gentlemen, Jazmin says, okay, I want to go. How much is it? I said, oh, you know what? You're the first one to buy a ticket. One of the first ones. It's $997. Jazmin bought the ticket right then and there on the table. She took action. And because she took action, now I was committed. I didn't even have an event. Listen to what I'm saying. There was the makings of a Millionaire Mind boot camp when Jazmin paid for it. I didn't even have an idea what the heck it was going to be like. I had an inclination, right? A concept, but because of Jazmin, I said, yeah, we're going to do it. Now I was committed because of Jazmin. And we just had our second one actually this past May 26th and 27th. It was phenomenal. We had over 55 people come in from all over the country. And they're like, man, Daniel, this was amazing. Crying. And like you're saying, right? They don't even realize. Speak to this because I love what you said. And you never shared this with me. So thank you for sharing this with me on the show. I never knew, ladies and gentlemen, that right, she gave herself permission to celebrate herself because of the boot camp. So many people, I invite them to the makings of a Millionaire Mind boot camp. They're like, no, I'm good. I don't need it. And maybe, I don't know, I can't speak for you, but maybe you were like, you know what, I'm good, but I want to, God put it in your heart to buy the ticket, the first one. Like, did you have an idea that you weren't celebrating yourself before you came to the boot camp? Because so many people think they're good and really they're not until they go to an event like the makings of a Millionaire Mind boot camp. They're like, man, I learned so much. I didn't know I needed this.
Yeah, especially people in business, like it was like, oh, it's the same thing, like we go to all these events. Like I go to a lot of events just because, the type of job that I do and networking and connecting with people. So I have to be on every single event. And I feel like it's just so one of is part of the ego, like, oh, it's again the same thing. Oh, millionaire, like I'm already a millionaire, or I already have the mindset, like many people will think that, like, or I will never be a millionaire. So it's like those three people, right? I didn't know. I didn't know that I wasn't, celebrating myself. I actually had two breakouts on that boot camp. One, it was that, and I was like, oh, it's okay to celebrate myself. So, yeah, that was one.
Wow. What was the second one?
The second one was, well, this probably just goes to my personal life. I'm always putting barriers on people. Like I was talking to this guy. You had like an activity where it's like go and talk to somebody and give them compliments, right?
Yes.
Somebody that you don't know. So this guy came to me and we started giving each other compliments. And the first thing that is like, hey, like settle down, boy. Like I didn't know who was this guy or anything. But in my mind, I was like, hey, this is just an activity. And then I realized, like, why do I have those thoughts? Like, how do I, like, of course, this is, of course, he's a grown up man, married and all that, but it was just that realization of me, like, why I always put like those barriers, like no, so I don't know, that was probably another one, probably smaller, but yeah.
But it's you're saying that, and it's so true because so I went to Houston. I went to an event there to go see my friend, Coach Burt, and I had done some stuff with him before at his lodge there, and he spoke at the event. I needed it, right? Because he just gave a very motivating message, like I told you before we started. And he offered some type of service. I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Why not? I need something right now. And but I could have been like, I know it, right? I'll get over it. No, we need help sometimes. But you know what came to me after we had our first coaching session? The lady, his assistant, called me and goes, hey, well, we have these events. It's part of the package you bought. Which one do you want to come to? I said, well, I can't do this one. I said, you know what? I'm gonna be intentional. I'll go to this one in July. And as I was pondering on it, the first time I went to his lodge, I had the attitude, I'm Daniel Gomez. I don't need help. I went there like to close minded, I think, right? I was close spirited. I was close minded. And I didn't really go there to learn, really. I just wanted to go see like what's going on over here, right? Like, let me show them who Daniel Gomez is. I did learn a little bit, right? I did, but I was thinking, man, I missed out on so much. I was trying to show up as the teacher to say instead of the student. And the first session that we had, no joke, Jazmin, my mind hurt. It was just so much good information overload because I coach, right? I've been, like you said, we've been in these different events and my head hurt. And my wife's like, Body's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm still recovering from the call. But now when I go back next month, I'm going to go there like, man, you know what? I'm going in as a student because what did I miss out on last time because I didn't go in as a student? And to your point, exactly, it's like we all need, there's another level inside of all of us. And that's what I love about you. You're just like, you've changed so much since I met you. You're a dynamic person. You're always smiling. You always, and ladies and gentlemen, I want to just honor Jazmin because we went to this event. We were in Dallas and then we went out to go get a bite. And the patience that Jazmin just demonstrated to me, I'm like, let's go. It was cold at night, Dallas, and there was a homeless person there. Jazmin bought him a coffee. Like, I've done that many times, but then I've never seen anybody. I haven't done this. And I was just observing from the back seat. Like, she got this homeless person a Uber ride. I was like, what? Like, I'm looking at our other friend and I'm like, did she really get him a Uber ride? And she's like, yeah. And that was just amazing. That's why God blesses you, Jazmin, because your compassionate heart. Like, do you realize how powerful, how many people I've done that? Like, right? You're talking about being closed up, right? We were doing an exercise at the Millionaire Mind Boot Camp. Somebody comes up to you, you block yourself off. And this is a person inside the boot camp. Imagine how many of us go through the drive-through or see somebody outside, they really need help, but instead of being compassionate towards them, we're judgmental. And I want to tell you, I honor you, I admire you because I have bought a cup of coffee before, but I've never gotten anybody an Uber ride. Where does that compassion come from?
So every day I pray and I say to God, use me as a bridge to deliver whatever you want to deliver to people. So I feel like that day, at the boot camp and, me telling you, I want to buy your ticket for an event that you don't have. And I didn't know, it was God using me as a bridge to be like, hey, Daniel, pick it up. You have a ticket sold. You need to sell others and you need to put a whole event, and that's the way God used me that time. But at the same time, like with the homeless people, with the people in need, it's so easy for us to not be, just turn our head like it's not our problem, like we all work so hard and all that. But I don't know, it's just probably constant prayer and trying. And that's one of the things that I always like. I feel like I'm not my compassion is not enough for others, or give grace. It's easier sometimes to give grace to others than to myself and all that. And it's just constant prayer, probably.
You do realize that most people would never do that. Most people, would never buy a person a cup of coffee, maybe more than would give somebody an Uber ride. Not many people at all would give people an Uber ride, and you did it. Like, people wonder. I want you to listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. People wonder, why is my life sucking right now? Why is my life the way it is? Why is my life not where I want it to be? Why is my business not where I want it to be? Listen to what Jazmin is saying deeper, at a deeper level. You're struggling because maybe you belittle people. You're struggling because maybe God is putting those people in front of you that you can be a bridge yourself, and you're not seeing them. You're overlooking those people. And God is putting those people in front of you over and over, but you don't see it because you're too selfish and focused on yourself. And your next level of business, your next level of life is really being compassionate to the people around you. Because you know what I realize is when we focus so much on ourselves, Jazmin, we tend to do one thing. I see that in a lot of people. When we focus so much on ourselves, oh, nothing's going right for me. This is right. I can't catch a break. We complain more than usual. And nothing kills our destiny. Nothing kills our business. Nothing kills the next level of success in complaining, because God hates complaining. And
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and go ahead.
One of the things that I learned or hear somewhere is like, how do you want God to trust you with $1 million when he gives you 1,000 and you can do anything good with it? How do you want God to bless you with your own company when you can appreciate your job? How is God gonna give you a mansion when you have a small apartment and it's dirty and it's like, like you're not taking care of the small things? How do you think you can manage bigger things?
You're so right. Boom, baby. Come on. That's powerful. Did you listen to what she said? I love the way you said that, right? If we're not taking care of what we have, how do we expect to get more? God's right. This is the way I say it: is if God can't trust you with hundreds, He's not going to give you thousands. If God can't trust you with thousands, He's not going to give you 10,000s. If God can't trust you with 10,000s, He's definitely not going to give you hundreds of thousands. And if He can't touch you with the hundreds of thousands, He's not going to give you millions. And if you're not taking care of what you got, you know what? What it reminded me of when I was in the automotive industry, you go and you appraise these cars, and some of them, it's like they're messy. They're like trash cans. And you see the people and you're like, man, more than likely if a person has a messy house, a messy car, they have a messy house. Because if they have a messy car, they're going to have a messy house. That means they have a messy life inside of them. And it's just an example. If you really want to know what a person's like, I started just observing over after being in an automotive industry for 20 years, you look at a car like, man, they got some stuff going on in their life. Because if you don't take care of your car, you're not taking care of other areas of your life, because the way you do something is the way you do everything.
Everything is related, like everything. I used to say like, no, my car doesn't define me as a woman, blah blah. But now, like, I'm always like, my car is so clean, like it's so on top of inspections, and it's like I definitely changed. Like I've been changing, and everything is related. Like everything is a reflection of how you are. How you treat people, how you dress, how you show up to places, everything is related to what you have inside.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to look in the camera and take a minute and talk to that man, to that woman that's discouraged. Maybe they've tried to do one real estate deal. They try to be the entrepreneur, and it's a lot tougher than they think, because it isn't an easy gig. It's not for everybody. Do me a favor and talk into the mic and to the camera for about a minute or two, and just give them a word of encouragement. What would you tell them right now, Jazmin?
You are your superhero. Nobody is gonna come and save you and give you an opportunity and do it for you. Like, you are your own hero. You need to take responsibility, take action, put yourself in the rooms with the right people, and you need to operate on the future you. You can be operating on the person that you are right now, that has been failing, that doesn't see the light, that don't understand anything. Like, you need to be performing as the person that you're gonna be in 10 years or 20 years, and show up like that person.
Boom, baby, come on. You are your own superhero. Get out of your feelings. Get out of that rut. Get unstuck. The wisdom. I mean, Jazmin is living proof that you can make it. Think about the odds she overcame. She came from another country. She didn't speak English correctly. She didn't have the confidence, but she didn't allow all the circumstances and situations to overtake her. She chose to dominate. Listen to this. Jazmin chose to dominate and crush her situation, crush the obstacles that were put before her. And now she's winning 10 years later. The moment you become bigger than your problems, your life will change. If you keep on looking up and thinking, man, this problem is big, this problem is huge. No, you're just being little. You're just being a small person. Stop being a little person. Stop being a little human being and grow and become bigger than that problem. Because I can guarantee you, right, Jazmin? You look back now at something that looked like a problem. Like, that's nothing. I can do that 10 times now. But at first it was daunting, right? It was like, it's a huge problem. No, because you grew to become bigger than the problem.
Yeah, my skin is so thick right now. It's like, oh, yeah. I've been through worse. I got this. But there's always gonna be challenges, and things that are definitely gonna. I feel like we always need to be looking out for the next breakthrough, because that means we are growing. Like, if we say, like, right now, if we stay on a state where everything is good, I totally got it, like, that's my comfort zone. But if I put myself in bigger, higher levels, I'm always gonna have a breakthrough, and that's okay, because I know I'm learning.
I love it. I love it. Do me a favor. Tell us a scripture or a quote that you're relying on when times get tough for you. What's a scripture or a quote that Jazmin relies on when the going gets tough?
Whatever you do it with all your heart, as doing it for the Lord, not for human matters.
Say that again. I love that.
Whatever you do it with all your heart, as doing it for the Lord, not for human matters.
Write that
That's
down,
what
lady.
is, yeah, that's what is gonna help you show up every day. Because I'm not working for Jazmin. I'm not working for massive capital. I'm not showing up for Daniel. I'm showing up for Lord, because he has a purpose for me, because he has been with me all my life, and he brought me to all this. I came to America because of God. So now everything that I do is I need to do it for him.
I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever you do it as unto the Lord, like Jazmin said. Powerful, powerful, powerful. How does somebody get a hold of this amazing young lady, Jazmin Salinas, if they want to talk to you and learn more about what you're doing in real estate, Jazmin?
So they can visit my webpage, massive.capital/Jazmin, and Jazmin spells Jacmin. Or they can find me on Instagram, invest with Jazmin, and everything is spelled out with Jazmin.
Woo, woo. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Hispanic causing panic. So proud of her to call her my friend. She's just tearing up the investment world, and I'm so proud of you. Just know that. And we'll have all her information in the show notes. And Jazmin, thank you for being here with us. And ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for this week's episode. And coming up here, August 25th and 26th in San Antonio, Texas, I want you to be part of our Mastermind Weekend Retreat. Here in San Antonio, you're going to come to my house. You're going to spend 2 days with us. Friday, Saturday, we're going to have a mastermind on the water. You're going to experience the millionaire life like you never imagined. Yes, you're going to experience the millionaire life like you never imagined. We've already sold 8 tickets. We got 7 slots left. It's an intimate mastermind here in my house in San Antonio. Reach out to me, 210-663-5954. That's 210-663-5954. I want you to come be a part of this. You do have to apply because it is at our house. So we have turned away 1 or 2 people, but we want you to understand that when you come to our Mastermind Weekend Retreat, I promise you your life's going to change. And next thing is, we want to see you in San Antonio, September 8th and 9th, here at the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy, where not only do we help you become a paid speaker, we help you build a successful speaking business. Come experience Sticker Shock with us. Until next week here on the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show with another amazing guest like Jazmin Salinas. We'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. This is Daniel Gomez Inspires, and thank you for listening to our show today. Please share this episode with a friend, leave us a review, and subscribe to our show. And for listening to our show today, I want to give you a free gift. I want to invite you to our Millionaire Mind community. Text the word millionaire, that's millionaire, to 210-942-5059. Yes, join our community today and receive millionaire affirmations, inspirational quotes on a weekly basis. That's 210-942-5059. Text the word millionaire today and join our community. And once again, thank you for listening to our show.